Well, high school football just wrapped up a big week with the NJSIAA Championship games at MetLife Stadium. For some of these guys, it may be their last time playing there, and for others, well, who knows? They may make a career out of it one day. Our very own TJ Tomesco is there for the action. He joins us now. TJ, thank you so much for coming on today.
How's it going, Mike?
Oh, it's going great. So, TJ, before we get into the games, can you talk a little about the atmosphere of MetLife Stadium and how excited the high school football players were there to be playing those games where the Jets and Giants play?
Oh, it was awesome. Just talking to the kids, being on the field, just hearing from all these kids saying how they've worked for this, how this was the goal, how they dreamed of playing at a place like MetLife Stadium. Just seeing everyone so happy, it was awesome.
It's fantastic to hear. Now, you covered a couple of those games. One of them was Passaic Tech against Washington Township. Washington won pretty handily, 31-12. Was this expected, considering that Washington was undefeated this year?
Yes and no. I say yes based on the fact that they were undefeated in the spectacular season that they had, but I say no is because of the timing that they're there now. I talked to head coach Mike Schatzman after the game. He said that the foundation was built on guys like 2018, 2019, the COVID year. They made the players there now want to play. Let's talk about 2018, 2019. Those were years where they had maybe 3 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins. So he really gives credit to the guys who graduated, making the younger kids, the guys there now, want to play.
Now, the other game, St. Joe's and Don Bosco, that game was much closer. St. Joe's won 24-21. With the loss, Don Bosco had their perfect season snapped, and this was St. Joe's first state championship win, I believe, since 2018. Can you take us through that game?
That game, that was all pretty much the Lamar Best show. Their quarterback for St. Joe's, he was dealing with an injury throughout the year. I talked to his father after the game. He had a shoulder bothering him. He didn't play a little bit earlier in the year. He came around just in time for the playoffs, and he connected with Nate Bailey. Nate Bailey is easily their best player on offense. He's committed to Harvard. They had a great game against a team like Don Bosco, who I would have thought was going to have a historic season. They went into Texas and they played a high school football game for the first time ever between New Jersey and Texas. So for a win like this for St. Joe's, it was incredible.
Now, you touched on this a little bit earlier. Can you talk about the coaches and their reactions? How proud were they of their teams after this game or after these games?
It's the same thing that I said about Washington Township with St. Joe's. I talked to head coach Augie Huffman and I talked to some players on the side. They all kept receipts. Everybody doubted St. Joe's. Everybody thought Don Bosco was going to win the win. They remembered that. People were telling head coach Augie Huffman that it was going to take 4 years to state championship, but that doesn't fly in their culture.
Now, TJ, you also covered a couple of games at Rutgers on Sunday. Let's start with Ramapo and Winslow. Winslow repeated as Group 4 football champion, snapping Ramapo's 9-game winning streak. Talk about the highlights of that game, and were you surprised at the outcome?
Yeah, I'm surprised that it was a close game. I mean, South Jersey public school teams are a different story. Winslow has 3 guys going to Power 5 schools. He has Nikier Helton, he's going to University of North Carolina as well as Julian Peterson. But their main guy was Quad Hendricks. He's committed to Minnesota. He scored 2 receiving touchdowns, 165 receptions. 165 yards on 5 receptions. He had an 87-yard kick return touchdown. He really did it all this game. Their quarterback, Jalen Parker, broke a South Jersey football record. He now has the most in South Jersey football history, and he's only a junior. Ramapo kept up a fight, and honestly, I am a little surprised based on the fact because Winslow, they had some tough competition. They played the school IMG Academy out in Florida. They played Bergen Catholic earlier in the year. So while Ramapo lost, they still put up a really good fight.
Now, the second game you covered at Rutgers, Glassboro against Cedar Grove. Glassboro won 29-14. I know there were high expectations for Glassboro. They also won the Group 1 state championship last year. Did it feel like they were in control the entire game?
It did, but the only thing that was holding them back were penalties and the Cedar Grove defense. They put up a good fight. Just like Winslow, Glassboro has a lot of stars, a lot of guys going to D1. The Sabb brothers are insane. Amari Sabb went off. He did everything He had 2 touchdowns. He had an interception. He's ranked number 19 in New Jersey's top players in the class of 2026 for 247 sports. His brother, Xavier Sab, had is an All-American. He's an All-American junior. He's number one ranked class of 2027. So it's not really surprising, but they have just went on a tear.
We'll see what happens. TJ Tomesco, great stuff, and thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thank you.